It's a good morning to you all. Welcome to Asake Online. This is Zenzele Ndebele. Today in the Breakfast Club, we'll be talking to Chief Nhlanhlayamangwe Ndiweni. He has been in the news probably the whole of this year for various reasons. And recently, the government wrote him a letter firing him as a chief. But the family says that he remains their only chief and they are not going to budge on that one. We had an opportunity to sit down with the chief, asking him about the highs and the lows for 2019 as well as the plans for 2020. And this is what the chief had to say.
I'm trying really to think here, Baba, to say what have been the highs. The highs are challenging for me to actually say what they were, because really I'm someone who's on the coalface as a chief, as a traditional leader. I'm looking at everything. I have to look at everything. Things come before me. So I end up gravitating to the family issues, the interpersonal things whereby we're looking at weddings, celebrations, things like that, anniversaries that are around. For example, to find an elderly uncle for me, way into his 70s, getting married to his sweetheart who is also in her 70s. That's a wonderful thing. It brings the whole essence of life to us. For the lows, for me, really, I think one of my greatest lows this year was the passing away of the Black Russian, D.D. Dabengwa. That to me was a massive low, because here is someone who, by definition, was a hero. And yet somehow the administration in office today in Zimbabwe had issues about declaring him a hero and affording him the full burial of a hero. For him to have been called the Black Russian was a salute that he had done well. He got that term from the Europeans that he was his foes against. And when he was talking to me about the stories there, he said, Chief, after the day of the signing of the ceasefire, I went to the top of Ntabazinduna mountain and I was sitting with the guys who were at the top of the Rhodesian forces. We were drinking castle a day after the ceasefire. And he said to me, this is D.D. Dabengwa, you're saying the chaps I was talking to, they said, Baba Dabengwa, last week I could have shot you. Dabengwa replied to that, he said, I know you could have shot me, but you would have missed. I would have shot you first. We're looking at someone of immense stature. That is why really for me, when he passed away, and I said it and I'll say it again, in my culture, how does one become a chief? One becomes a chief by excelling in something. In the past, it was excelling in conflict. D.D. Dabengwa meets that criteria. Hence, for me, I will continue elevating the Dabengwa family to become and to join us chiefs as a chief. It is something that has to be done. That is the only way we can thank the Dabengwa family, to say that from amongst the Ndlovu family, the D.D. Dabengwa family, there must emanate a chief, so that we remember. We remember what he did, what they did, and we must not forget it.
How easy is that going to be?
It's relatively easy. I know a lot of people think it's a minefield, but really it is not. I will take the traditional route. The traditional route, which is great for us now, we have a monarch in place, we have a king in place, Umbulazi, King Bulelani. I will write documentation to him of why I'm selecting this family to be elevated to the chieftaincy family. Because any true chieftaincy in this part of the country gets their chieftaincy from a monarch. So I'll write to him as a formality. Having done that there, the reply I'll get from Her Majesty, I'll take it to the Provincial Chiefs Assembly, Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, and also the Midlands, to say, here is the family we are recommending for chieftaincy. Bearing in mind, already those Provincial Chiefs Assemblies are resuscitating chieftaincies that have dwindled away. So there's a process there already in place. When that is done, it's then put to the National Chiefs Council. After the National Chiefs Council, to go up to the minister with portfolio responsibilities for chiefs, Attorney General, and then to the President's office. And the DD Dawengo family will become chiefs.
It's quite an interesting thing that we'll be looking at in 2020. But also coming to the year, we're coming to the end of the year, like I was saying, and ordinarily during this time of the year, what will you be doing in your area to celebrate Christmas?
We will be trying to really come together as a community. The late Paramount Chief used to do a huge party for the children of Ntabazinduna. It's something I would like to try and do again. Just to give them one day in the year to forget the trials and tribulations this administration is given. But for me, if I were to pass a Christmas message out, I would be saying, let us not throw away our spirit of Ubuntu. Your neighbor is your dearest person. Let us share. Let us be one. Let's come together as a people and one. Let us not lose our humanity in the midst of such testing times. For it is our humanity as a people that will define us and give us the ability to go forward and to overcome. We can only overcome by maintaining a sense of who we are. So let us go back to that. Let us share. You cannot have a huge Christmas party in your home when you know your neighbor has got nothing. That is ungodly. It is not part of the spirit of Ubuntu. So let us do that, come together, and we will achieve. We will make it. We'll get through. Zimbabweans are very, very tough and resilient. Let us go into that mode.
You have basically gone through a lot. At one point, you were actually taken to prison. How has that, affected you or molded you as a person?
Really, as a person, for me, that has molded me immensely. When I went into the prison there in Kami prison, I really did not have a single moment, a single time to dwell on myself. Because the minute I got into the prison there, I could see that this prison needed help. Whilst I was in Kami those 12 days, I wrote over 800 pages. Those pages were to do with forming a trust and a charity for Kami Prison Complex. That prison is Kami Remand Prison, Mlondolozi Prison, Kami Middle Prison, Kami Maximum Prison. Where to try and help those prisoners so that when they come out, they have something to offer society. And to improve the lifestyles in there. We should always be aiming for best practice. Just because Zimbabwe is going through a torrid time does not mean that we should always be languishing in the bottom. So things like the prison and that kind of thing, the reason why I didn't mention it as a low point for me in 2019 is because it gave me even more work to do. Positive work. I am a die-hard optimist. You will not come across Chief Ndweni wallowing in misery, wallowing in contemplation. No, even in the midst of this, and I must say it, although some people will take offense at this, the problems of Zimbabwe did not come from the Almighty. The problems of Zimbabwe were all man-made. If there are man-made problems, we can find solutions to those. We can rectify those things. For a traditional leader and a leader elsewhere, I always dwell back to the scriptures. The first king was Saul, from the tribe of Benjamin. His father was Kish. Before he became a king, he was a priest. I'm trying to say to the good people out there that you must have a spirituality in you. Leadership comes after that. The spirituality focuses your mind, directs who you are. It will reduce the self, the I, the me, the ego in myself. It will reduce that so that you don't matter. What matters are the people you're serving.
I mean, you've been in news this year, I think, most of the time, and your picture, TV, everywhere.
Yes,
I mean, you're working here, people recognize you, I think,
Yes.
most of the times. What's the reaction that you get when you're walking around?
It really brings me down to the ground. It brings me down to the ground because I'm looking at people, they are looking at me. They are looking at me with hope, with faith, that maybe this man can achieve something that this country has lacked in 40 years. So it brings me down to earth with a bump, and it focuses my mind that, Chief Ndweni, you have a job to do. Don't put your head in the sky saying people know me or the things. That's the last thing I'll do. For me, when I came back to Zimbabwe in 2014, I knew very well that I no longer had a personal life. My life became an open book to everyone. That's why when they see me, I don't really mind at all if people disagree with me, agree with me. My late father always used to tell me that, son, a chief is only a chief by his people. It's a deep saying. And he also said, to add on to that, that I have not come here to please people. I have come here to do right by the people. It is very close to the scriptures there, where also the Messiah came when they were asking him in the New Testament. He said, I have come to pit brother against brother, father against son, daughter against mother, for the truth, for the righteous truth. So that is where I'm taking my leaf from. It's a deep leaf, but it's something that guides and controls and looks after what I do.
What does the future look like?
The future looks good. Yes, we have challenges, but challenges are there to be overcome. We need to start something new, this time in Zim, whereby we really come together as one. We need to start speaking a language which the current administration has not been speaking. The language is, it is perfectly okay to change a government. Whether that government is 1 month into its term, 6 months into its term, 1 year into its term, there is nothing written in stone that says the next election is 2023. It is all right for us Zimbabweans in 2020. The spiritual 40 years, we've hit the mark, where it is change. It is a time of change. If you go to the scriptures, the Old Testament, the New Testament, every time you see the word 40, it signifies change. I am saying to the people out there, let us grasp that. Let's get hold of that. And we're not saying change in a fighting mode or in an aggression mode or change in whereby we've got this toxic politics in it. I'm trying to detoxify the language that's been used up until now to say, hey guys, it is perfectly okay to say, can we have a change? Can we have a change of government? Can we try a different team? It is like you've been supporting your football team for 40 years. Every time it runs out into the pitch, you lose 10-0, 10-0, 10-0. How long are we going to keep that up? You'll be asking for a change of the team, a change of the coach. That is exactly what I'm bringing over to them. It is in a normal way to say we can do it. The Lord God Almighty has endowed us with a beautiful country. I'm petrified, terrified, that if we don't start speaking this language of change, we are going to deny the young generation the hope. it is the hope that will guarantee the future destiny of this country. It was the hope of the young generation in the 60s and 70s that told that young girl and young boy, leave the classroom, go out into the bush, pick up an AK-47 and fight for your country. I'm just simply saying that now, in 2020, the hope I'm trying to secure is the one of language. To say, there's nothing wrong with saying, can we have a change of government? This one has failed. And when I say those kind of things, Baba, I'm not saying them in the light that I know people personally. I don't. I'm just simply saying that in the private sector, if you have failed, they'll ask you politely, can you pick up your coat and your briefcase and go? Bring someone else in who can do the job. So that's the future I'm looking towards. And I truly believe we can achieve it in 2020. And before people start jumping up and down and the likes, Chief Ndiweni is not speaking about picking up arms and a coup and that kind of thing. I'm speaking in terms of saying, can you please resign? Emmerson, Mnangagwa, and your administration, can you please resign and go? Let us have change so that this country can lift up again.
There is a group of people that is taken upon themselves to fundraise for your efforts. I mean, are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that. It is something people felt very, very strongly about. I've just come back from a tour of South Africa and Eswatini, and I came across Zimbabweans over there who were very angry indeed at what had happened to myself in Kami prison and what the current government was trying to do to me in Ntabazinduna. So I had no option but to allow them to do that. That is their self-expression. There's been no coercion in this, no nothing at all in that. For myself, I am a simple man, incredibly simple man. I can be perfectly comfortable and at home in one round mud hut. And if my people say, Chief Ndiweni, in order for you to go about, you must use a bicycle, I will have no issue with that. So people mustn't get the wrong end of the stick to say, here's a chief who's trying to be really incredibly wealthy. I'm a simple man. Folks, I've had plenty of new cars. I've done all of that as a young teenager. I came back to this country to work.
So if these guys, I mean, the people, now that you've, so you're aware of the people are raising funds,
Yes.
if they were to raise the funds, what would you use the funds for?
I've left that whole thing entirely for them.
Okay.
Because really, they're the ones who are feeling the hurt, who are feeling the anger, who are feeling very, very angry indeed, to say we need to lash out somehow. And for me, I say to them in both areas that please, don't lash out, don't degrade yourself. Do something positive. So all this whole thing is entirely up to them, what they want to do with it. I've got no say in it whatsoever.
So you can actually confirm that you know about the GoFundMe account?
Yes, I can confirm that. It is there. It is working. Go for it. Use it. Do the whole thing. There are good people out there who are doing that. They're trying their best to do that there for them. So yes, express yourself. Express yourself in that way. Yeah.
Okay. So lastly, what's your Christmas message to all the Zimbabweans?
My message to the Zimbabweans, try and have a good time. Try and celebrate. But as I was saying earlier on, do it in a nice way. Don't lose yourself when you're doing that. Bring on board others who don't have enough as you have. Let's close the year. Let's close the year with something good, something nice. Even if it's just a simple, good meal at home, that's great. And even if you have a party, that's great also. But take out that toxic environment that has been within the political arena. Don't go into that. It's a time of celebrating, remembering, and celebrating life. It's an incredible gift, celebrating life itself. Wherever you are, whether you're in Zim or abroad or wherever it is, if you're abroad, pick up that phone. Call your relatives back here in Zimbabwe. Likewise, if you're here in Zim and you've got enough of these wretched bond notes, use them to try and call your folks out there, although they'll eat up and burn up your broadband very quickly. Do the family thing. Because if we don't protect the family thing, it is difficult to protect society. It is difficult to protect a nation. So it starts from the family thing. Yes, I'm aware that people are fundraising. Please support them if you feel inclined to do so. They made themselves known to me, so it is something that's up and going. It is there. Do not be worried or hesitant about it. I know there's some phone numbers which they put on there. If you're having second thoughts or just trying to qualify something, call those numbers up. You'll speak to somebody there. So don't be worried at all. Please do it. There's no problem at all.
When it comes to the issue of chieftainship, the family is at the center. They are the ones who decide who should be chief and who should not. And yesterday, we asked Wilson Ndiweni on the feminist position when it comes to the Chief Ndiweni saga. And he said in this interview, as a family, they sat down, they decided, and they're not going back about their choice. Babu Ndiweni, ngizaqala ngokubuza ukuthi mhlawumbe lingasichasisela ukuthi kade sizithola siphakathi kwendaba ukuthi uhulumende sesithi induna yileyi ongasona induna yileyi. Njengefamily lina uhamba njani size sizithole sisebangeni naleli?
Ngendlela engakubeka ngayo elula ukuthi kungenela ipolitics kakhulu entweni yomndeni. Eqinisweni elipheleleyo njalo la ngefanelo akula way akula ndlela yokuthi uhulumende angenele kumuli ethile. Singumndeni, mase ngumndeni siyazazi la sisuka khona, la sikhona, la isiyakhona. So lokho esikuzwayo ayisikuzwa ngabakukhulumayo. Thina silapha esimi khona, njalo thina saqeda umsebenzi wethu. Siuqeda umsebenzi kasuqedanga ukuthi yithi esibeka leli jaha. Ijaha leli lachiya libekwe nguyise. Ngingubaba omncane wakhe. Ngiyabe ngilamanga nxa ngingathi yime ngibe kuNhlanhla. uNhlanhla wachiye bekwe nguyise. Wangibiza wangitshela ukuthi mina wami ezicathulweni zami zobuduna umfana ozangena ngulo. Njalo esikweni la kwethu laseMangweni kumbe kwaNdiweni akungeni izibulo. Nxa indoda sihambile kubizwa abantu abayo bonke bahlaliswe laphana sonke sibabone silusendo. Nampayana abantwana bakazibani. Phakathi kwabo kumele siphumele oyedwa. Ngoba sezibabe zinduna bonke. Kuphumwe yedwa. So ke angaba ngubani. Bese sithi hayi bafana sesilibonile selingaphuma lapha. Sesala si debate esikukhulumayo bona kabasekho. Sekukhuluma thina ngoba sibabonile njalo siyabazi ekukhuleni kwabo ukuthi lo ukhule nje lo ukhule nje. Asolihlala ungabazi abantu bakho. Uyabazi. Ungakuzalwa ngabantu bakho kunye nxa kuyisidla usidla kubamba abanye izandla. Uyakwazi ukuthi lokhu kubukhali lokhu akufanani lalo. Alo uzithulele lulungile. Owayeza agcinelwe ukudla ngogogo ngemva kwezivalo ngabe mazi ukuthi lokudla uslow. So ngaleyo ndlela ke silandela lokhu umzali womntwana achiye kubekile. Ngitsho lesigaba labangani bakho ubhuti lezihlobo abanye abanewethu abadala kulami bo ababefike ekhaya wayebatshela ukuthi ozangena esihlalweni sokuduna uNhlanhlayamangwe. Kodwa manje mina khonapho ngiphambuka kanjani? Nxa sengaqalisa ukufuna ukuthi sengitshintsha njani? Eshiye Paul ngoyise.
So the indaba yobuzibulo le isivela ngaphi?
Hayi ngezigangi lezi singazaziyo. Lezi izigangi kanti bona sebesazi njani ukuthi umhlanhla sebezibulo? Batshelwe mbani? Uyena olizibulo bamazi ukuthi mbani? Ngoba la yena labakhuluma ngaye. Abathi uJoram uyolizibulo. He's not the first born. Uyi-first born kumasuku unina. Hathi kuyise. Uyise oyisezele abanye abantwana. Sezele umntwana nomdala kulo Joram. Indoda ekhona ephila idlisishwala today. So ngangathiwa ukukhuluma azibazi ukuthi bathiwa kuya ku-first born. No.
So ungakhuluma indaba ukuthi uthiwa uMahlabezulu i-first born.
Uzoba
then abantu so
isigaba siyamazi.
Yeah.
Bamazi. Even ethutsha lapha nxa wakazumboni. Thutshe ngomboni usubona ukhayisa ngoba. Qathu. Vela umphumpulu.
So abakahulumende bayakwazi konke.
Uvele badingani kikho. Ukuze bakwazi bafunani. Bona kumele bezwe ngathi. Thina into kumele sibatshele. Njengoba sabatshela ukuthi ongenayo ngulo. Babe ngekho sisenza lokho. I was leading that. So kwane 2, I think umnyaka wesi-3. Salukazi wambiza. Wathi mdala. So kukwane iminyaka emithathu la. Akulungisa indaba yenduna. Ngambuza ngathi njani mnewethu ngafuna ukumuza ukuthi ungisa nga. Wathi hayi ngosiko lwakini mina ngenda. Mina ngangithwele mina ngangikhatbox. Ngangithwele ngakhuhluza. So abantwana ngabakho. So lungisa. Antu mnewena antu washiye kutshelile. Ngoba khona kwayikhuluma lo nina wayekho. Kongasomfihlo ukuthi wayesibizele ekhoneni afika anyenyezele omunye afihle kwabanye. Abantu abakhe bonke bayakwazi ukuthi umntalwana wachithe. Ngoba usefile lamhla. So mele siqalise ukutshintsha amagedi. So tshintsheki.
So kathesi uhulumende neselibhalele yini walitshela ukuthi ayidinga nomunye chief?
Ubhalile uhulumende incwadi yakhe. But we are not recognizing that. Thina sakhetha saqeda. Vele kati induna vele ngekahulumende induna ngiyabantu. Thina sazi induna iyinduna ngabantu. Abantu yibo abayinduna. Uhulumende ngela. Uhulumende wathi efika amakhiwo wathi efika afica induna zikhona. Ayisiyo into yavezwa ngamakhiwo ukuthi ayintsha. Ayisiyo into yavezwa izanu kubusa umgabi. Bakufika ukona. Ayisiyo into evezwe ngumnangagwa izolo ongena izolo. Hayi. Into eyiveli khona. Uhulumende wayesenza khona. Wayelawula ngapi? You can even go in khangele ngesikhathi uSmith esabusa. Vila nxa induna yayibekwa ngesikhathi sika Smith. There was no way induna yayibekwa khona uminister. That's nonsense. Induna yayibekwa induna endala. Induna yezinduna. Ukayisa nguye wayebeka izinduna zonke la. Nxa engekho wayethumela osivalo. Athumela omaduna, athumela omzimuni. Omasu wayethumela nxa engahamba ngaye. But nguye wayebeka izinduna udala lo. Kabaphikisi kabale ngesikhathi sika Smith. Akula minister okwabeka induna. Not even one. So ikuganga lokhu kuphela ukufuna they just want to manipulate izinduna. Bazifaka umkhala, bazidonse ngamakhala, bazenza odoli babo. Odoli bazo. No. We are not saying. We have no interest to that. Abahlonipha izinduna ngoba izinduna asozi kahulumende. Izinduna ngezabantu.
So amanyathelo bani seliwathethe ukuthi lilungise lokhu uhulumende asebone.
Ngensuku zalamhla njengoba sokunjalo wa-challenge that to court. Sesixoxile lama-lawyer. I'm from lawyers now. Sesixoxile. They are submitting the papers tomorrow. Ukuthi lokhu hayi vele kakusebenzi lokhu. Kakusebenza kusoze kusebenze futhi. Sifuna ukuthi sibone ukuthi ilizwe leli into okuthiwa ngumthetho liyakwazi ukuthi kuyini. Akula mthetho elizweni leli. Yikho induna livele ejele. Induna yokuqala ukufa kwejele kuleli lizwe. Angikaze ngizwe, ngizange ngibelakela izwe inye bafana. Angikaze ngitsengaka I'm 73 years today. Ngizange ngihlangane ngitsho esitshoneni kibo khona. Ngizange ngihlangane le nduna ukuthi okhayisa benjana babengavumelani lento ezenziwa nguhulumende. Ubhuti wayebiza uMgabe upresident athi Robert buya la. Ufuna ukukhuluma la kazange athi president Mgabe ubhuti. So induna zonke ezindala zazikhuluma induna efree vele ikhuluma into eyiyo ngoba ikhulumela abantu ayizikhulumeli yona. Umfana lo kazikhulumeli. Nxa ubhuti wayesithi ungene ezicathulweni zakhe wafundiswa wabanjiwe waklehlwa nguyise. Ayisukuthi uphonga uba nguye nje. Umntanakho phakathi kwabantu abakho uyambona uyamtraina wena. Ukuthi lokhu kwenziwa so, lokhu kubanjwa so, lokhu kubanjwa so. That's what my brother did to this young man. Ngenxa yokuthi ubhuti vele wakwaba izaphi bafanele naje yakwazi ukhayisa lakelizwa ukuthi JV ngezani kaza lo tshwala wayengabuniwe wayengalathi indaba idodi zonke lezi eholisini lo kwala the van ayichiyayo ibrand new ingakakhutshwa amaphepha yayihlala kimi lokuthatha wayisala yithi sayisezokuncenga. What I've got my own cars ngilezami imoto mina. Nakusa ngaphi khona. Sathi hayi mdala wenzela abantu. Kuzaba khona okunye ngxenye imoto azi down. Izagijima imoto lincedise lapha incedise lapha lincedise lapha.
So what will happen in the event that the government appoints umunye wakondiweni?
Ayisoze vele imappoint yamappoint yasebenzelana. Anti ukuxeganisa abantu. Uzasebenzela ngaphi lo uzappoint. In other words, ka kufuneka induna. Kufuneka umuntu wezayo. Kabasiyeli khona. Kufuneka umuntu wezanu abe induna. Hachi ophuma ku family. Kumbe sokumele siyedinga ku family. Bazama ukusitshela ukuthi ka siyedinga ku family oyizana. Ukuze bayenelisa ukumanipulate abamcontrol benza intando yabo. I think they're telling us that which they're not going to win it. Yasi lasikhathi sakho lokho. Thina siqedile ngalo.
Yeah, ukhanya kuza kuba nzima sibithi kodwa libona ngani kuzaphetha ngani?
Ngeke ngisho ukuthi kuzaphetha ngani. But ngilola lo ufuna kuphethela esayidini lakhe. Mina to me kumele kulahle lokho khothi kulahle idoti le. Ngoba kuvela kulaqala. Kanti kufana nokuthi ebochiwe wayibotshelwe. Wayibotshelwe ukuthi ugwebe umfazi wezana. Wathi kaphuma esigabeni ngokuganga. So yala wethu izanu ibusa ngokuganga. Yikho kwile corruption. It is because of that. Umuntu ofuna ukuqiniswa abamfundi. Ofuna umuntu ochayisa ingunde ongenayo aqamba amanga. Nguye abamfunayo. So yikho ikubotshela. The same chief today sokuthi uyaxotsha. Usexotshiwe not ukuthi uyaxotsha, usexotshiwe. Uxotshela ukuthi nxa kungathiwa baso first boy. Umtshane yi-first boy. Uvuyane yi-first boy. You can ask a number of them. Kanti indaba bengaqali kumtshana. Uthi umtshana usofesi phuma ebudini. Waye besizwa kumfana. Yadeleleka. Kumbe vele balimpi yabo ngoba impi kaNhlanhla isiyompi kaNhlanhla. Impi kayise. Uyise wayevela avumelana ndoda. Same applies to this young man. Idoti kayifuna. Ufuna nje izinto zicace zibe clean ebantwini. Abantu bathi nxa bebuswa abakholise. Yazi la nxa usenduneni yakho lizwisisana uyakholisa. Awumesabi. Ngoba lihlale phansi lixoxa.
Yes, sesiphetha lapha nje siyakwazi ukuthi kulabantu abathi bafuna ukuphathisa induna ngokukoleka izimali nje sebeke balitshela
yini. Sebeqalisile. Abaqalisile. Ba contributor sibili NDCT kabakhululeke. Futhi kabakhululeke kakhulu izimali zakhona zibuya kimi. Kaziko omunye umuntu. Bake babuza abanye abase-America, abanye base-South Africa. Bethi umfana lo fakele into liyamazini uthembakele yini ngathi mina wethu uthembakele umbe kathembakalanga yena uhlaba umkhosi. Kodwa imali ezikhutshwayo ziza kimi. Ezalapha ekhaya kwelika Mthwakazi le. Ziza kimi. Kodwa ngithi eZimbabwe ziza kimi ngoba ngathi kwelika Mthwakazi nyabe sengishiyela abana phandle. Kanti labo bakhona sebe contributing from Mashonaland. Ambazi kodwa sebe contributing. Now what I've done ke sengivela emaloyeni. Ukuthi imali ingangena kimi ngiyibonisa ineki. Ngihamba ngerimita kumaloyazi. Lapha ezabidina abakhululeka abantu imali yabo will be kept, will be accounted cent by cent. Abasoze babone not even a single cent elahlekileyo. At my age now sendithwele wisdom. Ukambe ngantshontsha khona akazi ukugijimisana lokutshontsha sengaka. Anti nyabe sengizilimaza nyabe sengilimaza i-reputation yami, impilo yami, ilebizo lami. Ngifuna ukuthi njengo former councillor wedorobha lakoBulawayo ngisale ngilokho ngile that dignity, inhlonipho liyana isale lokho ikhona. So yikho ngiye kumaloyazi vele angamaloyazi ethu ukuyaba bikela hayi bangamukeli. Bathi mdala nxa imali sezingenile i-receipt book nansi. Siyafika sikhuphe efonini sifake siku-receipt. So abantu bakithi ngithi kabakhululeke ngoba vele izinduna zazivele zidle ebantwini. Yikho kwakuleziphala zenduna. Abantu bathi bangalima bathatha amasaka ngomuzi ngomuzi bayefaka enduneni. Kwakusenzela ukuthi kuyaziwa ukuthi enduneni kufika abantu abaningi. Abantu laba nxa befika kabathole ukudla. Kuthi la nxa sokungena indlala ngomnyaka wendlala bayenikwa labana abangazuzanga lutho ukuze bathole ukudla. So in other words bangabona ngathi okungama ayisuzu kwabo lokhu mbe ngama $300 lokho abakunika induna usebona ngathi imali. That is nothing. So abantu bakaNkulunkulu kaba mina kusiya ngami ngithi abakhangela induna zabo nje zonke ngingasakhulumeli wami umntwana kuphela. Zonke induna zincindezelwe nxa zingaboni ngama twin cap la abakunikwayo. Into ezifileyo leziya. Kuyavuka kufile kusasa. Khathesi abantu bathi bafuna ukuthatha. Sikubekile ababuye bazokuthatha nxa befuna. Njengoba sengikhulumile ngcenye abanye kade bethikaza. Hayi lingathikazi bantu bakamlimi, lingathikazi bantu benkosi, induna ngeyenu. Umntanenu. Kambe nxa lingabona induneni ihamba ngenyawo lizathini. Anti umntanenu yini elimphakamisayo. Yini elimenzela konke. Menzeleni ke ngokubona ukuthi siyabona ukuthi lilezifiso. Lizubuhlungu ngalokho okwenzakeleyo. So asibaswabiseni. Kaswabe uMnangagwa uhulumende wakhe ngalokho azama ukukwenza nxa bebona ngathi inhlanhla iza kudla inqoqo zomlomo hayi ngabonakala siphila ngcono ngoba vele induna ngiyabantu lina abantu mphatheni umntana.
Liyazizwela Mahlabezulu, indaba kaChief iyahlupha, iyaphambili, complicated. As the family they are saying that they have approached the courts and they are challenging the dismissal of Chief Nhlanhla Ndiweni. They are saying that as a family they made their choice, they are not going to change. So this is one of the stories that was going to spill into 2020 because no one knows how this situation is going to end. There are so many questions that what happens if the government goes ahead and appoints another chief? What happens if the courts then decide to say the dismissal of the chief was unconstitutional or was unfair? Definitely we are going to up this story and see how it ends. I hope you enjoyed this program. Join us again on Monday as we look at other issues that affect the region and the country. My name is Ndebele. Have a good day.